Fellow comrade and peers, it's time to step into the second quarter of this year with some improvements. In the first 3 months, I managed to maintain a weekly schedule for this channel, but at the expense of my hobby projects. That's why I'm trying to include a little more project updates in the future to focus more on the core of the hobby again. At the moment, there are mainly 3 projects on my main schedule. First, Napoleonics in 50mm, then World War II and Pike Shotte. Napoleonics is still awaiting a review of General d'Armée. One or the other test game is still missing here to get a real feel for the rules. But that should be done by this month. Last week I went back to the painting desk and finished some French Grenadiers, whose painting scheme I would like to present afterwards. For the second project, I tried to paint more infantry to get closer to the amount needed for O-Group. I followed Alex's painting instruction from Stone Steel to achieve a little more speed. The experiment was quite successful, with 4 infantry and 2 support bases completed in a short time. These are painted mostly with Vallejo colors and were glued onto the base before painting. With Pike Shotte, I have certain scruples about starting immediately. So I'm doing an epic test run first with ACW figures from Wargames Illustrated. I will try 1 or 2 techniques and then present them here. The focus should be on a brisk painting with sufficient quality. We want to see miniatures on the table in the foreseeable future. As a meta project, I still have a miniature wargaming campaign in the background. But for that, it will be useful to increase the number of figures first. Now let's move on to my color scheme for Imperial French Grenadier. I first primed the figures in light gray, Grey Sierra by GW. I mainly use contrast paints for the base painting. Faces and hands are painted with Guilliman Flash and the uniform in Ultramarines blue and Apothecary white. This is followed by Black Templar for the shako, boots and gaiters, as well as the armor pouch, bayonet and scabbard. Blood Angel's Red is used for plume, collar, shoulder badge and piping. Wildwood for the musket and Gorgrunter Fuhr for the backpack. As last step for the basic painting, the base is painted in Steel Legion drab. Now the miniature gets a wash with Nuln oil and is left to dry. After drying, highlights are added. Ulceran Grey is particularly important here. It is used for white uniform parts and the leather straps. In addition, the shako cords are pre-painted with it. The uniform jacket is highlighted with Ultramarines blue or Altdorf Guard blue, as it's called now. The red parts in the shako cord are edge highlighted with blood red or Evil Sun's scarlet. The rolled greatcoat is painted in Adeptus Battle Grey, or as it is known nowadays, Mechanicus Standard Grey. The painting is completed with highlights on the shako and scabbard with Dark Reaper. Highlight for the greatcoat in Astronomical Grey or Celestial Grey, as well as details in rich Jupiter armor for the shako plate and kin straps. Flesh is highlighted with elven flesh or Kislev flesh, and the musket worked up with Liebelcher and Mornfang brown. The last step is basing, where I pre-prime the wooden base with Army Painter Leatherborn. The base is covered with Vallejo earth texture after the figures have been placed in position. Then, after drying, the base is dry washed with Tau light ochre and a Shopti bone, and then flogged. Varnish completes the painting of these Grenadiers. So much for this week. I hope that was somewhat interesting. Till then.